Hi everyone, it's Peter Cassidy. I'm going to be reporting on Chapter 17, Action Research. Here is kind of my concept map. I used a Wordle, some of the key words that I'll be showing you as we go through the rest of the slides. So we're going to be looking at theoretical underpinnings and grounding assumptions, research purposes, approach to data collection and analysis, reporting and evaluating ideas, and critical assertions. So let's continue. So I'm going to start with the evolution of action research. It began in the 1930s, and the term was coined by Lewin, a social psychologist in the 1930s. And what he wanted people to get together, collaborate, discuss, communicate to solve practical problems. And some of the things that were mentioned were military issues, military strategies, meat shortages. So people get together to solve their problems. Now, action research saw a resurgence in the 1970s. Teachers College in New York City, Columbia University, they adopted Lewin's approach, but made it practical for teachers, so in the classroom. It also mentions the UK, Tavistock Institute, and Australia is mentioned. Today, action research is a very practical design for teachers to enact change in their classrooms when they've identified problems. All right, some of the key characteristics of action research. As I mentioned, it's a practical focus, so a specific problem in the classroom or society, perhaps. It's self-reflective. So teachers are reflecting on problems in the classroom, and during the process, constantly reflecting on, even the data collection, the analysis. There's self-reflection throughout the entire process, and you'll see that a little later. It's collaborative, okay? You want to get as many stakeholders involved as possible. The more people who are involved, key stakeholders, the better. And it helps with the reflective process as well. It's a dynamic process. So action research is nonlinear. You can go between stages, and in the slides to follow, you're going to see two spiral models, and the researcher can go between these, flow freely as he or she sees fit. Now, action is taken in action research, so you're going to develop an action plan and implement it. So it's not just for publishing in a journal, data that you found and interesting trends and whatnot. You're actually going to implement something in the classroom and see how the students change based on what you implement. So it is very action-based. And it's contextual. It's usually in the classroom for teachers. Also, sharing this research, you're sharing it with a specific audience that you have determined can take this research and enact change in their context. So, it is very contextual as well. What I've done on these slides, take a look. I've just illustrated the statements that I just made with citations from the Creswell text. Now, there are two types of action research. There's practical action research and participatory action research. Now, both of these, I will show you models of how the action research teacher would go between different stages and what's happening in those stages. So Mills has this model. It's called the dialectic action research spiral. And as I say, it's very collaborative. you're working with other people, and it's dynamic. So you can free flow between all of these stages of first identifying an area of focus, second collecting data, the third is the analysis and interpretation of the data. Collaboration is very important there as well. And developing an action plan and then implementing it. Summarizing your findings. Is it working after you've implemented it? So once again, I've just illustrated those statements with some key citations I thought would really illustrate those points. Now, participatory action research, Stringer has this model, and it's the look, think, and act model. But of course, there are 6 key components or underpinning ideas that about PAR or participatory action research. It's social process, it's participatory, it's practical and collaborative, it's emancipatory, you're trying to help people, it's critical, and it's reflective. So in the look process, you're trying to build a better picture to help stakeholders understand the issues in your classroom or the issues that they are experiencing themselves. You want them to think, interpreting the issues and identifying priorities for action. Again, very collaborative. The more people involved, the better. And then acting, devising practical solutions, getting people involved, giving tasks, encouraging them, and then evaluating how your action plan is actually working. So once you've implemented it, very important. So once again, just some key things taken from the text to illustrate those statements. Now, the steps in conducting action research. There are 8 critical steps, but once again, there's a free flow. It's dynamic. It's not linear. You can go back and forth as you see fit. So first, you want to determine, is it the best design for what you want to do, for the problem that you've identified? You want to study a specific problem. Is that action research the best design? Of course, you want to locate resources to help address the problem. Lit reviews, collaborating with people, asking people who are maybe experts in the field if they can help. You'll also identify information you will need. There's a lot of different ways to approach understanding what you're going to do. So again, lit reviews, collaboration, and you want to use multiple sources, and you want to use a variety of methods in this process, so you can implement data collection and analyze the data. Once again, triangulation, getting different views and different sets of eyes through collaboration, discussions, and of course different sources with your lit reviews, and different methods, qualitative, quantitative, maybe mixed. This all leads to developing an action plan and implementing it, having it happen in the classroom. And then you can watch and reflect to see if it's working. Is there a solution based on your action plan? Is it emancipatory? Is it helping your students? All right, once again, take a look at these slides. All right, the purposes for research, action research, this type of design. Obviously, it's really good for teachers to use. You can identify and study common issues in your classrooms. Maybe there are 3 grade 2 classrooms, and you're all experiencing a similar issue. So you can get together, collaborate, and go through this action research process to solve the problem. Because you want to implement change. You want to improve practice, your own and the practice of your students. You want to inspire reflection. You're not going to be satisfied necessarily. You're going to see how you can make things better. Because in the end, we want to empower, transform, and emancipate ourselves and our students, people in society. Once again, take a look at that. Now, approaches to data collection and its analysis. First off, as was mentioned, you can use qualitative methods, you can use quantitative methods, mixed methods, you can use both. So first you want to identify a problem, design the questions, literature reviews, collaboration. Then you're going to take action in the classroom or wherever you're doing it, experimentation, data collection, obviously multiple sources, and a variety of methods. The analysis, once again, collaboration is very important. You're going to find trends, themes, then you're going to write the results. You're going to kind of organize it so it's clear. And then, of course, you're going to report. Sharing, you're going to collaborate. But one thing with this is it's usually, as was mentioned, very contextual. You're sharing, with people who are like you, want to enact change in their classroom in a very, similar context maybe. Now that doesn't mean you cannot publish in an academic journal. Sometimes people do, but for the most part, it might not be as formal. But it's because we want to enact change on the ground. Okay. Once again, triangulation and multiple sources is important. And one thing that's mentioned is the 3 E's: experiencing, observing and taking field notes as an example, inquiring, asking people for information, that's collaborative, and examining, using and making very organized and clear records. Keep the data very organized, and you can go back to things. So that's important. Once again, take a look at these slides. I've spoke about Mills and Stringer's models. Okay. Now let's get into reporting and evaluating ideas. First and foremost, results can be used immediately. So if you've seen that implementing an action plan has led to positive results, report it and people can use it immediately. Now, some key questions. Was the central issue identified well? Were multiple data sources utilized? Was there a lot of collaboration involved in the process? Was the action plan well developed? What did you learn? What did the researcher learn? What did the students learn? Or the participants? Were the results presented appropriately? Was it contextual? Could people use that immediately? And how are you going to share the results? There are many ways. So online journals, newsletters, blogs. I've done a lot of professional development workshops in my school based on my action research in the past. So, it is often very contextual. Okay, and once again, these things have been mentioned. Take a look at these slides. I'm going to end with the ethical and credibility issues. Because teacher researchers are so close to their students, there might be an issue of power balance, or you care too much and you're not seeing things as they really are. Sample size and time constraints are involved because it's classroom setting usually. And reporting findings might be considered less than academic. So that's about it.